and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be finishing off this coastal home that I've been building in Paralives. I started it on a live stream and I did run into some issues on the live stream with the build mode, so I thought that I would finish it in a normal YouTube video. I did have so much fun with this build mode. The level of customization is insane. It's probably also why it took me almost a week just to finish this simple home. I was changing the colors, expanding things, putting things wherever I wanted to. I felt so free with this build mode, but that does not take away the frustrations that I did run into. Now, I say all of this to say that I do understand that this is a game that's in early access, so I'm not going to be too harsh. I am just going to blame a lot of it on maybe user error. This is my first build with this. I didn't really watch anybody else's videos. I wanted to kind of discover the build mode for myself and go through, the quirks and the difficulties on my own, and then learn as I go and watch other people's videos to see if there were better ways to do this. I have found now a better way to do it, especially when it comes to the foundation. That was where I was having, I think, my biggest issue. So when you draw a room in Paralives, it will automatically place the floor. I was using the raise the floor tool for the foundation, but I've actually heard that you can draw a room and then basically scale down the walls to like be 1 or 2 tiles high. So then use that as the first floor and that is the foundation, and then build on top of that, if that makes any sense. And that should be a lot better than the way I was using, which I was just raising the floor of the current room that I had in the game. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yes, I will definitely do the other method in future builds for Paralives. And as you can see on the live stream, I had already finished the outside. Well, I think I finished the outside maybe 3 times because of the difficulties that I was running into. And then I also did the living room, and then in this kitchen, or half of the kitchen, I'm going for a very light blue coastal boho kind of theme in this house. In other rooms I do use more of like a navy blue to kind of go more nautical than, I think, this coastal beachy aesthetic. But yes, I do want to say before I get into my likes and dislikes with the build mode or whatever, I am running this game on a laptop that does not meet the minimum specs. I was thinking maybe there's someone out there that would, or that is thinking, because they have a device that doesn't meet the minimum specs, that they can't play the game. I am running it on an Asus TUF Gaming F15 laptop, and it doesn't meet the specs in 2 requirements: the CPU, I think, and also the RAM. So the recommended RAM is 12 gigs. I have 8 gigs. However, I did turn some of my settings down, and the only time that I really experienced lag was when I was doing my gameplay and I would go and load into a different lot. That's the only time really that I noticed the lag. I think there was a little lag here and there. For example, towards the end of this build, it was lagging, and I think it's just because I placed so much clutter items in this build and so much customized paintings and so on. So I think that's why it was getting a little laggy there towards the end, but that was the only time that I really noticed it. Also, in my research before I downloaded the game or bought the game, I was looking up whether other people, what they were experiencing, if they were using a laptop or whatever that did not meet the requirements. I think I saw one with a Mac and then an Acer, and they said the same thing as me as well. If you turn down some of the visual graphics and so on, or settings, it will allow you to run the game, and you may experience lag here and there. And then obviously if you're going to add more households, more homes, more things, the game is gonna slow down. And I've even heard from people that do meet the minimum specs that the game is a little bit laggy, and it is a problem that has been reported, that the game moves quite slow. It's a little understandable because it is in an early access, and also it is an open world game, so everything is basically loaded in at the same time. So I do understand that. Now I will get into my likes and dislikes with regards to build mode specifically, just because my gameplay was very surface level. I did the gameplay mainly to see if this game would run and how it would run on my laptop. I did not really find or feel the need to continue my gameplay just yet. I think that, as they go on, they add more things. I may be more compelled to play the game, but I didn't feel that just yet. Hopefully later on. I will say the game is currently at its cheapest, and I've heard, which is amazing, that any expansion packs or any new content that will be added to the game will be free. However, the price of the game will increase. So if you buy it now, it is literally at the cheapest that you'll ever get it. So I think you should think about that if you're wondering whether or not you should invest in the game now or later. I do think that the base of the game is really good. The build mode is, like I said, just so impressive, I would say. And if they straighten out all of the bugs and so on, I think it's going to be a really, really great build mode. So if you just want to build for now, then I think that this game may be worth it. It's not even that expensive. It's half the price of a Sims 4 expansion pack right now in South Africa. So that's wild. A whole game for half the price of one expansion pack. Yeah. And then I am gonna obviously compare it a little bit to the Sims because that is what I mainly use. But I think I'll more so compare it to the Sims with how much I like it than more so the dislikes. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm gonna go through my dislikes first, and then I will do my likes. Bad first before the good. So for the dislikes, the first one that I thought of was the terrain. So the terrain tool, I do not like the swatches, which more can be added later on, but I also did not like that it didn't come with like a smoothing tool or an eraser. You basically had to undo everything you did if you were not happy with it. You couldn't just like erase certain aspects. You could have used a different terrain paint or whatever to do so, but still I would have liked the smoothing tool or whatever. The way I got around like the harsh edges and so on was to use rocks and other plants, but I hope that they will introduce like a smoothing tool or at least an eraser for later on. And then another thing, I think my biggest problem was the roofing and the flooring kept on disappearing. So every time I would draw a new wall or a new room, the roofing or the flooring would just disappear, and I would try and correct it, I would try and undo it, but it would just not undo it to what it was before, and that was so frustrating. I had to rebuild, I think, a lot of the outside or exterior walls, so like maybe four times. I think 4 times is what happened, and every time I also had to put new roofing on. And yeah, I don't know, I think maybe that was user error, but I've heard that other creators have experienced that as well, and so I'm gonna try and do some research on how to work around that. But I do think I'm gonna be returning to the Sims after this little building stint in Paralives, because I just have a lot of ideas for Sims 4 builds that I really want to get out, and then I'll build Paralives again later, some point later in the year. But yes, and then I also, okay, so with the advanced toggle tool, so you would have maybe seen it when I was busy with a blanket that I placed on the couch or whatever. That is such a great tool. I mean, it's like the tool mod for the Sims 4. The game just comes with it, so that's really great. But a lot of the times when I would use it on the clutter objects, those would disappear. Some of them would stay, some of them would disappear. You wouldn't really know what would happen until it happened to the clutter object. So some of them perfectly fine with advanced toggle, others it just didn't work. For example, there was this book that I tried to place on the coffee table in the living room that kept on disappearing, but then I also used it on this round, it looks like a marble pearl or ball, I used the advanced toggle on that thing as well, and it didn't disappear. So I don't know when it will like disappear and when it will not. So that's the only thing with that. And then I also found that the lighting in the game, I do not like it. It's such a white, stark white light, but it doesn't light up everything in the room, if that makes sense. I wonder if there is a way to change it in game, how the lights work and so on, like, you know, you can in the Sims 4, but I didn't really see if there was a way to do that. However, from the jump, the base lights and how it shines and whatever, I do not really prefer it, but hopefully there'll be options for us to change that in the future. Those are really all the dislikes that I thought of, and which is little, honestly, and things that can be changed in the future. So other than that, I really like the build mode. But let's get into some of my likes, and one of them is actually on the screen right now. It is all of the cushion and pillow options in this game that the base game comes with. I'm so happy about it. I know it's such a simple thing, but I'm so happy about it. Oh yes, I'm here doing like a breakfast nook. I really wanted a breakfast nook, however, I don't think it will actually work in that way. As a dining room table, I don't think it works in that way. So this one is just mainly for the way it looks. For me, breakfast nook screams coastal home, and a lot of the inspiration that I was using or looking at when building this had a breakfast nook in it. So I wanted to incorporate one, and I just loved it with all of the windows. And let's just get into the windows. The fact that you can expand almost each and every window, I think every window really, and just the level of customization with windows, with objects, the way you can expand them, make them bigger, and the fact that they still work. You obviously can't do it with all of the objects. So for example, with doors, you cannot expand them out, which is fine. And then with some of the, I think, like dresses and so on, you cannot like expand those either, for example, that you could do with counters, which once again is fine. And then I also really love the color wheel. The color wheel is such a heaven sent, because I mean, there's so many things in the Sims that I just wish I could change the color of and I would get more use out of them. For example, the Get Famous furniture is a great example. I freaking hate those furnitures because, oh, those furniture pieces, the colors that they come in, the swatches that they come in is so ugly. And also, I love building gothic things, right, in the Sims, but they never quite get the red and the black right. And it would just be so nice if I could choose them myself. And so I hope that they are well on their way to introducing a color wheel in the Sims 4, and the fact that they do not even have it, and this is a game that just came out and it has it, is so disappointing. Really, it's very disappointing. And then I was contemplating whether I wanted curtains, right, but on the other side where I have all of those windows, I just felt like the curtains didn't look right. It also met up with the what you call this, the counter and the cupboards that I put on the other side of the wall. So I decided to go with blinds there instead, and you can expand the blinds and the curtains as well. If you've ever watched any of my other build mode videos for the Sims 4, you will know that I have a freaking long-standing frustration with the curtains in that game, and sometimes I just choose to forego them completely and leave the windows open because nothing ever really fits properly. Sometimes the colors are also not right, and sometimes the curtains are ugly. And so I am just so happy that I could expand the curtains here, and I cannot wait for more curtain options in the future. And then another thing that I also love is the fact that you have this paintings that you can kind of put your own pictures into the game, and then have your own customized paintings. It's very different from how you would do it in the Sims, and it's easier. However, I did learn that when you put customized paintings into a build and someone, for example, downloads it from the Steam Workshop, it will not pick up apparently. So that is very unfortunate, because I feel like the way that I brought this coastal theme to life in this build is through the paintings that I downloaded. I downloaded so many ocean paintings, seashells, starfishes, sharks. I think there was a stingray, a betta fish, whatever, so that I can put it in here. Since there isn't a lot of like clutter that symbolizes the coast and the beach and whatever, I thought that that's a way for me to bring this theme to life, is by using the paintings. And so I'm so sad to learn that you may not have those paintings if you do decide to download this from the Steam Workshop. However, you can, you know, import your own. You can also use those paintings that I did place up around to, like, maybe have family paintings or whatever. So yeah, and then also with the lights, as you can see, you can drop down the lights for some of them, and then you can only expand the shape or the size for others. So I do wish that some of the lights came with a expand and also a drop down option, so both options, but it was fine. I really like this boho light. It fit with the theme really nicely. And then currently I'm busy doing this hallway over here, and this ship's wheel actually did come in handy. It was the one beach decor, coastal decor, that came with the clutter. And then the other thing is, oh yes, I did write down sizing almost everything up and down. Just amazing. I don't have to pull out the tool mod for that. You know, in The Sims, you can size up things. Sometimes you size them up and they're just too big from what you really want, so you need to go somewhere in the middle, and the only way to do that is really with a tool mod. Yeah, it's a lot easier. So you see there all of these paintings that I downloaded. So if you go down on the picture menu, you'll see there's like a huge plus there. So you just click on the plus, and then that will open up a menu of your files, and then you can, like, you know, put your own photos in. Just make sure that they are JPEG and PNG images, otherwise you wouldn't be able to put them in. For example, I was downloading this from the web or from the internet, and it's saved as WebP something images. So at first I couldn't really put them in, so I had to convert them to JPEG and PNG to put them in. So I just created this gallery wall over here. I think that was one of my favorite things about the game, is being able to just put your own paintings in. One of my other frustrations as well with The Sims is the fact that the paintings suck, but alas, I really do miss my CC when I just decide to build with the games, especially when it with the games like furniture, especially when it comes to paintings, because the paintings, they just, some of them are good, but some of them are not so great, especially when you're building for specific themes. Like, for example, I like to build maybe for a dark academia theme. The paintings there, you would have some, but I want more, you know. So it would be nice to have this option in The Sims as well to do this. And I know that you can kind of do it with the paint by reference option when you are painting or when your Sim is painting, but that is too long. I want a quick solution, you know. So this is the first bathroom that I'm doing down here. I will say that I do wish that I changed the layout a little bit. So I wanted to have a laundry room in this coastal home. It just makes sense for me that there is a laundry room here. However, I put the laundry room upstairs, which is fine. It's closer to the rooms. It makes sense. But I think it would have been better if I made this the laundry room, and then the next room is going to be an office. I could have made that the first bathroom, and then I could have made what is the laundry room upstairs the office. Yeah, but it's fine, the layout works, so I just left it the way that it was. I only really thought of that idea when I finished the laundry room upstairs, and it was just too much to change at that point, and I really did like how everything turned out, so I left it that way. And then I also wrote down, I love the build camera. Now, I build, unfortunately, with the Sims 4 camera in the Sims 4. I know there's an option to, you know, use the Sims 3 camera. However, every time I tried, I struggled. So I'm really envious of people that can use the Sims 3 camera, because I just know it's so much better than the Sims 4. Sims 4 camera will have you bopping around all over the place while you're building, and also you don't have that rotation option or the free rotation option when you're using the Sims 4 camera, which I then have to use the tool mod to do that. But I love that here the camera just is so stable. You're only moving if you want to move. You're not flying all the way around, except for the outside. I did kind of bop around a little bit when I was going into the rocks and the road or whatever, but that's fine. In the inside, where it matters, like when you're placing clutter and so on, that's when I don't want the camera to be, throwing me around every which direction. And then what I had cut, or what I done before this, was I wanted something to place the soap in, so I just used this, it looks like a platter, and I just use that as a soap dish. And then later on you'll see that it didn't come with a towel rack, so the base game currently doesn't come with a towel rack. So there is this disability, there's like a lot of disability objects actually, which is really nice. And it comes with this not a rack, what do you call that, but it's the thing that I'm going to pull out now and put under this window. So I just use that as like a place to a towel rack. And then there was this blanket that I placed on the couch in the living room. I thought, okay, if I change up the textures, which is also something that I love with this color wheel, is here you get so many textures on the side and you can actually make it look like a towel as opposed to what it looked like before. So I just did that so that I could have a towel rack in the bathroom. I will say that the thing that I use as a rack does look kind of thick for a towel rack, but it was the only other option that I could use, so I just left it that way. It's okay. You can't really, I think you can only expand it from left to right. You can't make it bigger or smaller or like thinner so that it would look more realistic, but I thought it looked fine, so I just left it that way. Now we've moved on to the office, and for the office I wanted some darker colors in here. You would have seen that I kept to the light blues in the rest of the home, but I wanted to go just with a darker blue in here, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. And then also something that I love about the game is the free placing of clutter objects. For example, in the Sims, a lot of the time with the shelves, they slot to specific slots on the shelf. It is the most frustrating thing ever, especially when you're doing a lot of clutter and you're doing massive shelves, but there's like only 2 slots on the shelves. So you either have to pull out another shelf so that you can free place objects at the same height, or you have to use the tool mod. Yeah, no problem, you can just place them wherever. There are certain things that slots to the shelf. I do apologize if you can hear the little girl that's barking at me right now, because she wants me to open the door so that she can bark through the window that's right next to me at non-existent people on the road. So I do apologize if you can hear that. I'm really trying hard to ignore her, and I've also lost my train of thought now because I'm paying attention to her. But yes, anyways, the next thing that I also love, aside from the free placing clutter or whatever, is I really love the sound effects of this build mode. The ASMR is so nice from it. I love the sound effect of placing the tiles and also painting. It reminds me a lot of another game that I played, which I don't remember the name of it anymore, but it's also like a home decor game, and I think it's a mobile game, and it's a lot like, I want to say the graphics is a lot like Retro Rewind, or like the shop, or what's that thing with the slides and the water park. It's a game like that. It looks like that, but it's about home decor, and a lot of the sound effects remind me of that. And I know it because I used to play it a lot before I started playing The Sims. Games that allow you to decorate has always been one of my favorite things, or like games to play. So yeah, I felt a little bit nostalgic hearing the sound effects in this game. And then what I'm currently doing is I'm just making a planning board. So I used the paint options. There was this calendar in there, so I used that there. I probably would have downloaded a calendar if there wasn't one. I was looking for something else to go on here that would look like planning or whatever. So cute that you can actually put your own dog's images into here. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, something that I need to check is that if I deleted those images off my laptop, would they still be there? I think they most likely will. Yeah, but I'll just double check that after this, and then if I do another Paralives build, I'm sure I will mention whether they are still there if I remove them, because just imagine, I really cannot afford, I cannot afford to also need space for all of the art that I want to place in Paralives. And also I did download a mod. I forgot to mention, I did say in my live stream that I was not gonna download any mods for Paralives, but I promise this is the only mod I will ever download for Paralives. I cannot have another modded game. Right now I'm at capacity with the Sims, So this mod is called, I think, debug something by Zebu, and it just gives you access to all of the objects that are like in the world. So everything that's in the stores, the museums, the mushrooms and the rocks and stuff that you have to find, which is really cool. And the cafes as well. So if you wanted to build a cafe, it probably wouldn't work as a cafe, but if you wanted to, you could get access to objects that you would need for a build like that by downloading this mod by Zebu. And you just go to the Steam Workshop and search up the mod, and then you say, or you click subscribe, and that's how it gets into your game. Very, very easy, honestly. So easy that you might download a bunch of mods and lose track of them. So that's why I am avoiding that at all costs. And then yeah, I'm busy with the laundry now upstairs. Once again, I wanted to go with a darker color scheme for the laundry. A lot of the ones that I was looking at was in this light blue, pastel blue, and they were so beautiful, but I just was feeling the dark blue at this point in here. And then yes, the other things that I also love about this game is all of the kitchen clutter. Oh my word, I should have mentioned that when we were in the kitchen, but the clutter that comes with the base game is just so much, it's so much compared to the Sims. You need to own almost every single expansion pack, I feel like, and then some kits to have a good amount of clutter for a kitchen in the Sims 4, and then you still won't have a wine glass that you can use, which is just insane. There's no real glasses or wine glasses in the Sims 4 catalog, except for maybe if you want to use debug. But then the problem with debug is they get dirty, they get smelly, and then your Sim will get that moodlet that says that they are uncomfortable because the household is dirty. So yeah, I was just so amazed by all of the clutter, and I loved them. I'm also using some of the kitchen clutter in this laundry room because it kind of looks like things that you would place like laundry detergent or whatever in them. And yeah, I was happy with the clutter options. And another thing is, you have to own all of these expansion packs and whatever in the Sims 4 for kitchen clutter. And I was really expecting that when we got the kitchen clutter kit that they were going to give us things like glasses and plates and cups and bowls and things like that, I mean. But we didn't get any. Well, I think we got like some cups and bowls, but we did not get any glasses. So no normal drinking glasses, no wine glasses, nothing like that. And you get all of that. Yeah, you even get some nice food options like flour, oil, wine bottles, like different options for the Sims. The wine bottles that you really get is so you get the ones with the base games, that's like the 3 that's laying down kind of in the wine rack, and then you get like a few ones on the walls and stuff. But loose wine bottles, you usually have to go to live edit or debug. And then if you have horse ranch, you can have access to loose bottles. And then maybe if you have the cozy bistro kit, you get 1 wine bottle. But yeah, you get like a nice diverse options for wine bottles. And yes, I just went on a 5-minute thing about wine bottles as if I drink wine. I don't, but I am just trying to explain how much options there are, and the dog keeps on barking. She's so annoying. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes, wine bottles. Many options is what I was trying to say. And also you get like these eggs and what else, boxes of cereal and all of these things. I was just happy with them. And I also, oh yes, this is one thing that I didn't want to mention. Also, part of my dislikes, I just remembered it. But the books in the game, right? And some of the objects, the clutter objects, the quality of them is just not the best, not the best, like the labels and so on. And maybe they are trying to make it look distorted or whatever, but I just feel like maybe it can be a bit better. But also I forgot that I did turn down my graphics, so that may be why that is doing that. So it could possibly be nice if the graphics is normal, but from my perspective it just looks very grainy and pixelated and whatever. And then I don't like that you can't change the color of the books, but that's fine, you know, more books, more book options would solve that problem. And then yeah, I am in the bedroom. I had to replace these windows because when I was losing, you know, the floors and the roofs by drawing the rooms upstairs, I was losing windows, doors, everything on the outside as well. So I had to do that a few times, and that was, I think, part of the frustration, but it was okay. And I wanted big windows on the side because the view on this lot is just so pretty. And also I love that on this lot you can actually walk down to the beach. I don't think I took my son there, oh my para, sorry, not my son, my para, oh my word. And I didn't take them like down to the beach just yet. I did try to play test this lot a bit. It for the most part works, but for the breakfast nook it doesn't really work that way. Like she can sit at the sofa if you move the table a bit away, but I don't think they would be able to eat there. So it really is just for the look of it, and you can always just like remove everything that I did there and replace it with dining chairs if you really want that. I'm also not sure how to get the chairs at the island counter to work, because they do not actually snap to the island counter like it would for the Sims 4. And when I tried to get it to sit there, she wouldn't. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm definitely going to be watching a lot more videos after this to see how I can work out some of those quirks. And then I also experienced that cutting into the wall where the door is in the laundry. You may have seen it. I think it's gone now because I went back in and I took these photos and it wasn't there. But I also experienced that cutting. And then there was also another glitch where the money just kept on going up, 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 up the whole time. And I did not know what was happening. So I went out of the game and I came back in. And then also, yeah, I forgot to mention as well. Well, I'm honestly just remembering it because I'm seeing it now, but I had to redo some of the, I'm gonna place a shelf and decorating the shelf, and then also I had to redo the entire master bedroom because I tried to edit the windows that are on the peaks of the roof to make them bigger because they were a lot smaller compared to the size of the roofing. And so I used the advanced toggle on the round windows that are on the roof, and when I tried to, you know, get off of that object, I can't think of a better way to say this, it would not allow me to do that. So whenever I was moving my mouse, it was expanding the window in all different directions, and I could not highlight a different object, you know, to edit that object. I was just stuck on that round window. And so I tried to save. It told me I could not save because I was busy editing an object. And at that point, you know, or from the point that I decorate the shelf in this room up until I finish this video, I lost all of that progress. So that means I had to redecorate the shelf, redecorate the main bedroom, and also the bathroom that attaches to the main bedroom. So there's 2 bathrooms in here, 2 bedrooms. And yeah, so that was really sad. I was so sad because I loved how it turned out. If you do see some things that are different from the photos at the end to what I'm doing in the video, that is why. I was also, like I said, lagging, or the game was lagging at this point a bit when I was getting to the end of the build. And so I did try to finish it a lot quicker with recording, but when I went back in, the lag was somewhat better. So I felt like I could place more objects and decorate more without the lag. So I did place a few more objects that you probably would not see in the video when I redid everything the next day. But for the most part, it looks very similar to what you currently see me doing, because I used the video like a guide for what I done. I'd also remembered a lot of what I did, thankfully, so I did not really have to use the video that much to redo what unfortunately did not get saved. Yeah, so that is kind of my thoughts on what I think about the build mode so far. I do think that it does take a bit of practice to get into this build mode. I do love, like I said, the customization. That is my favorite aspects of this build mode. But as someone who is a little bit indecisive, I will say now it will take me a lot longer to build, and I think that problem will only get much worse with the amount of objects, or as more objects are added throughout the lifespan of this game. But yeah, now I'm in the master bedroom, and I wanted these windows behind them, but I also wanted something that I could place objects on behind the bed frame. So I used the cabinets and just expand them across the size of the window, the width of the window, and then here the color tool coming in handy. And so I just made it the colors that I've been using around the coastal home. And yeah, you can see there the rug that I placed down, right? It's supposed to be that zigzag diamond shape pattern, but whenever I changed it to just the swatch, which I think I created the swatch if I'm not mistaken, so that may be why, but whenever I changed it to the swatch, the diamond zigzag pattern would disappear. So I'm not sure why that happened. And I also wonder if I think yes, most likely if I am choosing swatches, someone who downloads this will definitely get those swatches. But I'm really sad that the paintings that you see me place there at the back is, you're not going to get that. But like I said, you can download and maybe customize them yourself. Hopefully there will be a solution for that in the future, where if I am using custom paintings and I'm going through that effort to download them, that the people who want my builds are going to be able to have those custom paintings as well. And yeah, so for this house, I will say it's not really giving I love you every day. It's more so giving this is my holiday home. And so I do think this can be like a second home for your parrot. You can own more than one home, because I think my parrot, it's gonna take a minute for me to get that. My parrot owned like the lot just one door down from this one, and she could like go between the lots like she wanted to, so, or like I wanted it to. But that's really all of my thoughts on the build mode for Paralives. And on another note, I'm trying to choose between two builds for my next build. So I'm thinking maybe I can do the Love Island All-Star Villa, which is located in Franschhoek in South Africa. So I wanted to do more South African inspired builds, and I was thinking, because Love Island is back and whatever, I haven't really been watching it, to be honest with you. I feel like it's gotten a little bit crazy since last year, but I was thinking maybe I can do that since it is located in South Africa. But also I could do a winery on the topic of wine bottles. I could do a South African inspired winery instead. I've already done like the layout for that build, so it would be easier to just get into that one. And then maybe I can do Love Island All Stars maybe when All Stars come around. I did look at the US version of the Love Island villa, and I was overstimulated. Like, if you've never seen the photos of that villa, just go look at them. There's so much going on. I was like, I'm not gonna build that. I did like the All-Star Villa the most, so I wanted to build that. And then also the whole idea of it being in South Africa. And then I wanted this to be the main bedroom, because this one had the balcony. I felt like, main bedroom privileges would include the balcony. And then obviously I also gave them a separate bathroom in here, but there is only a bath in this bathroom, so if they wanted to shower they would have to use the one downstairs. I just wanted to make this bathroom more luxurious, and you'll also see in the images that I placed in the end, so I went with a normal tile here in the video, but when I redid it I went with a marble tile. I think that's the biggest difference between this bathroom and the one that I ended up with. But let me know what you think about those two options for the other Sims builds. I will most likely decide by tonight, but I'll still take it into account. I am planning on building both. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to build one or the other. It just means that one will be first, the other one will be later on. Yeah, I am leaning more towards the winery though, so I'm excited for that. And like I said, if you want to catch me live, I will most likely post those on my community tab if I do decide to make it a live build or live stream build. I've been having some mic issues because I don't have a dedicated mic right now, and I feel like it would just be better if I did before I started live streaming. But then again, I also don't want to put it off until I have all of these things, because then I need a mic, and then I'm gonna need this and that and that before I'm comfortable to do something that I really want to do. And I just want to stop with that mindset, you know. But yes, that is really all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this Paralives build. Let me know what you think about Paralives in the comments, and what you think about this build. And yeah, it will be on the Steam workshop under SimWithMishka, but if I'm not mistaken, searching with my name probably won't help. So I have uploaded it as a coastal holiday home, and then you'll just have to go through and see which one is mine, because a Steam workshop is a bit complicated and I have never used it before. So please let me know if you do end up finding it there, if you decide to download this build. But this is where I'm going to end off the voiceover. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.